The image in Daniel 2 verses 31 to 45 has traditionally been interpreted to be a march of world powers, starting with Babylon as the head of gold. In fact, the June 1, 1922 issue of the Watchtower declared,
"We do not need to remind the readers of this journal that the head of gold represented the Babylonian Empire, the arms and breast of silver the Medo-Persian Empire, the belly and thighs of brass, the Grecian Empire, the legs the Roman Empire, and the feet, iron mingled with clay, those governments which, in the early part of 1914, were still animated by the spirit of the Roman Empire."
This succession of world powers interpretation thus enjoyed the status of being unquestionably normal, with the only relative uncertainty being the precise identification of the feet and toes. These came into greater focus in 1927, where one Watchtower article identified the feet as the Anglo-American world power ruling concurrently with the League of Nations. However, a book was released in 1930 that knocked down this interpretation and replaced it with something else. Do you know what happened? The case of the secret meaning of Daniel's image. In 1930, the book Light 2 replaced the succession of world powers interpretation with Satan's organization. This was illustrated in this eerie image and explained in its final chapter 14. This different interpretation lasted for some 28 years until 1958. In 1958, the Satan's organization interpretation had collapsed and the succession of world powers interpretation was permanently restored in the book, Your Will Be Done on Earth, and was expressed again in the 1959 Watchtower series of the same title. Specifically, the April 1 issue, Part 13 on page 280. But what was the reasoning behind the move to interpret the image as Satan's organization? Light Volume 2 explained on page 295 that the succession of world powers interpretation came from the Adventists, but it was not God's due time to make his secrets known. On page 296, it continued that the true meaning of the terrible image could not be understood until after the coming of the Lord to his temple, and that Daniel 2 verse 30 calls the correct interpretation a secret. Therefore, it was now time for the secret meaning to be revealed, and on page 312 it identified Satan as the head of gold. The rest of the image was thought to represent other subordinate elements of Satan's organization. However, this new interpretation did not stand the test of time, and was replaced by the original interpretation. Supporting the original interpretation is the HarperCollins Study Bible, which pointedly explains that Daniel interprets the dream symbolically or allegorically as a political oracle. There was no other secret meaning. So, that is the story of the secret meaning of Daniel's image, and why it was rejected. The succession of world powers interpretation is here to stay, and has endured intense examination in our own publications. The latest presentation of it is seen here in the New World Translation Appendix, World Powers Foretold by Daniel.